ए.एस.स ने स्टाफिंग के लिए सेल्सफोर्स के एजेंट फोर्स का क्रियान्वयन किया। एजेंट फोर्स पर निर्मित मुख्य सोर्सिंग एवं एंगेजमेंट एजेंट सेल्स टीमों के साथ 24/7 काम करके उत्पादकता बढ़ाएंगे। मुंबई, दुनिया के नाम। ए.आई. आरएम सेल्सफोर्स ने ए.एस.स के साथ साझेदारी की है, जो भारत एवं मिडिल ईस्ट में रिक्रूटमेंट, स्टाफिंग और एच.आर सॉल्यूशंस प्रदान करने वाली एक मल्टीनेशनल फर्म है। सेल्सफोर्स की मदद से ए.एस.स अपने सेल्स एवं मार्केटिंग कार्यों को सेल्सफोर्स पर एकीकृत करेगी। ऑटोनोमस ए.आई. एजेंट्स क्रियान्वित किए जाएंगे ताकि कई हिस्सों में बटी हुई प्रक्रियाओं को व्यवस्थित करके राजस्व बढ़ाया जा सके और ग्राहकों के साथ मजबूत संबंध स्थापित हो सके। दीपू चाको, वीपी सॉल्यूशन इंजीनियरिंग, सेल्सफोर्स इंडिया। रिचर्ड जैक्सन, चीफ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफिसर, ए.एस.स ग्रुप और मनकिरण चौहान, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर, सेल्स एवं डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, सेल्सफोर्स इंडिया ने मुंबई में ने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में घोषणा की।
From our perspective, so you're right. The adoption of AI tools is not easy. You're absolutely correct. People are scared, and people also maybe see that will this be the end of my role? Right? That's what they see. People are scared. So we in our business, we see adoption. We don't just have AI in this from a Salesforce perspective. We have it also from other areas of our business as well. And adoption is not as good as it could be. So it's about encouraging. It's also about reassuring. I think when you see adoption increase is when, so for instance, one guy in our business yesterday signed a contract which was a result of this product. It's the first one we've actually fully signed, which for us was a great result, right? So it means that actually we've paid for the investment, which is really important. But what it then shows is his colleagues go, oh wow, this guy has done it, so I must follow suit. So we train people. We also reassure people. But what we hope they do is they see it as another, I call it an arrow in your quiver, right? It's another tool that you have to make more sales in our perspective. For us, it's not about do we remove people from our processes. It's actually, can we get them to do more, right? Can they earn more? In some areas of the business, there probably will be, AI will impact, and there will be impact on jobs. There's no doubt in that. I think what we've got to do as organisations is see, okay, can we redeploy those people? Can they be, as you said, be trained? Can they be reassigned into a different role where we've given them the opportunity to actually have those skills? So I think there's a win-win for everybody. But I think in some pockets there will be reductions in the workforce for sure. But it's how do we train and how do we bring those people to different roles?
Lokesh, I'll add a perspective on change. You know, we all live in the world today where change is so constant. In fact, I think the pace of change is not going to be slow again, right? Like whether it was cloud or mobile, every time there has been technology evolution, there is always that reluctance, or there's always this skepticism of what that change is going to mean and how that change is going to be perceived. And I think we're going through that revolution phase today. It's not just an incremental change of technology. It certainly feels like, you know, this is a new way for us to have humans and agents in doing so many other things. You know, so we spoke about recruitment. I know I spoke to you about how we're using it on our own pipeline management or website, or the use cases are consistently evolving. But I would say that we're living in an era where, you know, learning and therefore adapting has become table stakes for everybody. I mean, everybody in the room, you know, we're all going to have to experiment, and we're all going to have to learn technology as well. And Salesforce actually is pioneering the focus on AI upskilling as well. We've committed to $310 million globally for AI upskilling. And a lot of, I definitely encourage all of you to look at Trailhead as well. You know, it's a learning platform that everybody should be leveraging on what's new and, you know, investment. So for us, making sure that we are not just talking about what is coming in a product suite, but also making sure that we have future-ready skill available in the market, that we are making sure that we're also focused on AI upskilling is really the focus.
So specifically within my organizations, what we've actually seen is We've now used AI to automate a lot of the mundane tasks. As an example, so within the solution engineering team, we do a lot of like research on customers, their financial statements, their analyst presentation. A lot of those tasks used to take a few hours at least in a day. And now the team is able to use AI to actually accelerate a lot of those insights, because of which now the team has become a lot more effective in the way they actually talk to our customers. So what we are actually seeing is a big shift from doing mundane tasks to a lot of the focus being on the relationship and adding value to the conversation.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Supriya here from Tech Achieve Media. Hi, Richard.
Hello.
Richard, firstly, congratulations on this collaboration with Salesforce, right? It's great that it's helped you improve the efficiency of your salespeople. However, I'd like to understand how, would you say, do you see AI agents becoming the primary sales engine over the upcoming years? And Deepak, I have a question for you as well. Agentic AI has the access to the data of the company, right? And that's how they function efficiently. How real would you say are concerns that they would be able to influence or manipulate customer, decisions? Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for the question. Do I see it replacing salespeople? No. I think it, again, I go back to it, it's a tool. It's another tool that people can use. I think, and as David said, we also want to remove the kind of, I don't want to say donkey work, but the work which is like basic work, like finding lists of contacts you want to go after, filtering that, making it very specific. And what's good about Salesforce and the agentic solution we have is that entire process of saying, I want to contact all the journalists in Mumbai. I have a good job, okay? And I want somebody who is a specialist in technology, who has been working for 10 years plus. We can now put that criteria into Salesforce, and the agent will go and find you. Whoever you are in this room, it will find you if your details are somewhere out there, right? And then we can contact you. But that work would have taken somebody 2 weeks. Now it takes an afternoon. Actually, it takes probably an hour. And you can be so specific. So the salespeople now are then armed with that data, right? And they can then get the agent to start the conversation, right? So you will get your email, and you might want to engage. You might say, yeah, I'd like to have a conversation with this other newspaper. Then the salesperson is then freed up from their time to have a more valuable conversation with you as a candidate, right? They can talk to you, right? Or as a salesperson, they can talk to you, okay, very, very clearly. And they've got more time to do that. So I think the art of the deal, though, as well, when you want to close a deal, the AI is not going to close the deal. It's not going to happen, right? Not in our B2B world. It's not going to happen. So I think we feel that it's a way of providing, taking away the manual work, getting people then to engage, and then it's just more efficient, and then reduces the cost and the speed, increases the speed.
Really love that question in terms of hallucinations, because that's like really real conversation that a lot of our customers actually ask. And that is why, like, when you have the Agentforce 360 platform, where we start out with the very basic needs of trust, which is the access, making sure that the data that you are accessing is what you have actually access control over, right? And then to kind of make sure that you give the observability for the outputs that the AI actually generates, right? Because it is important that, like, if, let's say, a regulator asks a financial organization 6 months later saying, why did you actually give this particular offer to the customer through your AI bot, you should have the details in terms of, okay, here is the context that I knew about the customer. Here was our product marketing brochures that we used at that point of time. So that observability, the traceability is extremely important. And this is how we actually ensure that explainability about an AI is really put in place. This then builds trust, right, with both the customers as well as their end users.
Can I just just add on? That's a really good point, because in the solution we have, the conversations with the potential client is all visible to everybody in the company. So you can see how the AI agent is interfacing with the potential client. You can see the email, you can see the communication. Anytime the contact wants to jump out of that conversation in email and speak to somebody, it's instantaneous. So I think what Salesforce has done a good job of is really making that visibility there. And you've got an audit trail as well. So if something does go wrong, you can go back and you can see that audit trail and you can investigate it. And that allows you to improve the interaction with the agent as well. So it's a really neat solution. It's very visible, it's very open, it's very transparent. So yeah, it's good.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Mr. Richard, first of all, congratulations for the strategic collaboration with. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've got
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Both of you, also Mr. Tipu and Nandu. So already you have done a collaboration with a company who is already doing impressive work in this forte, I can say. And just I want to know that for the collaboration with you, how it will help you growth-wise, for both of you, like how it will help you growth-wise globally.
Okay, so how does it help us grow? I mean, again, it comes back to, as I was sort of saying before, the use of an AI is about, for us in sales, is how can you reduce the cost of customer acquisition, how can you increase the speed of the deal, and how can you get your sales team more productive, and ultimately gain more customers, get more revenue. So for us, it's a way for us to make things as efficient as possible. We're always, like any business, trying to make our business more efficient and make our people more productive. So any tool that comes along that we feel is the right thing to use. If you go, we're just in a technology's changed over the years, right? I've been in recruitment for too long, right? 25, 28 years. And if you go back, you've got different stages, right? We had a fax machine, we had the internet, we then got CRMs, yeah? We've then had full internet, etc. These things all change. You have to embrace, everyone has to embrace some new change. Now, we've taken on this challenge of bringing AI into our business. A lot of our competition probably haven't, okay? And what we'll see now is when they see, I already had questions, they see the increase in productivity in some of our stats, everybody then starts to wake up and say, okay, wow, somebody else is doing something different. It's just innovation and evolution of what you do. And for us, growth-wise, we're in a competitive, staffing, as you all know, is a very competitive industry, right? It's not an easy industry. It's competitive, it's also, it's high volume, it's high transaction numbers, etc. So for us, any way that we can make this more efficient, then we will always do that.
Mr. Tipu, what do you say about this collaboration with?
See, the one thing, if you look at the last 6 years that Salesforce has been around, the one thing that we always do really well is listen to our customers, right, on what their needs are. Obviously they're using our products. There's a lot of the feedback we actually get from customers. So partnerships with customers like TAS sort of helps us actually on that particular path. See, AI is something that's new, right? I don't think there is an end state that we have actually reached. We need partners like TAS to sort of help us guide on that journey and make sure that we are actually releasing products that make sense to our customers. Right? That's how we actually see this partnership.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and many congratulations to you guys for this collaboration. So I'll be very specific to the announcement. Here it is mentioned, this question is for Richard actually, that Task has chosen Salesforce to unify its sales and marketing operations and ultimately drive revenue growth from it. So the first question is why Salesforce was the best choice for this for you? And secondly, what is the revenue projection that you are expecting post-deployment?
Okay, that's a good question. Why do we choose Salesforce as the first one? So for us, our technology strategy in our company is one of high investment. So we feel technology should be at the centre of our business. Our business is high growth. Taskers had circa 28% CAGR growth over 18 years. We have grown significantly in that period of time. And for us, we see that growth continuing with our plans to expand. And for us, we wanted to invest in a system which would be able to grow with us. We wanted a system that would allow us to integrate easily with the rest of our technology ecosystem, with our ERP and other parts of our business. And Salesforce gave us that opportunity. I think it also allows us to grow in terms of innovation. Innovation is a major part of our company strategy. And I think unless you're with a tier 1 provider who is able to invest huge amounts of money, if you look at the level of investment that Salesforce put in globally into their different parts of their software, there's no comparison. One thing we do like as well is that they have a great kind of marketplace. So we have some other kind of products that sit around outside the ecosystem of Salesforce, but those have native integrations. So it makes it very easy for you to then just plug and play those applications back into Salesforce, which again removes all the manual handoffs. It makes our sales team's life a lot easier, and generally, I think the main thing is it allows us to grow. It allows us to grow with Salesforce and vice versa. That to me is important. What do I expect from the revenue from it? And that's a great question, and the CEO of our company is also asking me, Richard, all of this investment you're making in technology, what's the return on it? So, what for me, what we're seeing at the moment is that we see in the press that over the last, I think there's been a few articles recently where there's been huge amounts of investment in AI, and what's happened is that there's not been much return for it. That's what we're hearing, right? We've seen lots of reports on that. But for us, our strategy on this is to take small steps. Okay, so for us, our investment here is a small step, but a really valuable step, right? Because you have to try different parts of innovation and technology. So if we take this, we're probably the first people in the Middle East to do this. And for us, it was like worth doing because the investment was actually it wasn't huge. It wasn't going to break the company, but if it was to work, then it would give us a really big return. So we do an ROI, return on investment, on all the investments we do in technology, and we look at okay, what's the outcome of this? Could it help us? So we're very careful in that respect. What would I expect to happen here? In the first 12 months, I expected that of all the costs I put into this, I expected to break even. I just wanted to break even to start with. Because there's very few, and the guys can tell you here, not many people are doing this piece of work we are globally. So for us it was, can we break even? Now, once we've proven the model, now we can start to accelerate it. And then we can start to see this really making some headway. I would like to think that at least our salespeople could at least get a couple of client contracts, maybe 2 or 3 signed a year through this agentic workflow. That's what I'd like to aim for. Is that okay? I didn't give you a number, I'm so sorry. I know you were wanting a number, it's okay.
Hi, good afternoon. Hi, this is Sukarna from Times of India. My question is for Richard. What guardrails are essential to ensure a safe and ethical agentic behavior?
Okay, that's another great question. So when we designed the agent and what it would do, we were very clear. I think the first thing, as I told you before, the first thing is we make it's signed off as TARA, right, which is the Task Accelerated Revenue Agent, right? And it doesn't hide the fact that it's an agent. So if someone looks at the agent, the email signature actually says it's an agent. So we're not hiding from the fact that someone is interfacing with an agent. as I said before, the prompts and the coding that we developed are all about engagement. It's about engagement, and it's about explaining who we are, what we do, and how we can help that potential client. It's not offering pricing, it's not offering any promises. The whole aim of that agent that interfaces with the potential client is to get a meeting. It's just to get a meeting. So it's not probably going down a track of trying to negotiate, do pricing, etc. It can't give those answers. But as I said before, what I think is very important is it's all recorded, and it's also open as well, visible to. So as my agent, I can see what is my agent doing, what are the conversations it's having in the sort of sidebar of the Salesforce screen. So it's very powerful, it's very open. So I don't feel that we have any challenges. We did a lot of testing, so we did a lot of UAT, we did a lot of making sure that this would work, because again, reputation-wise for us, UAE is a small market, Saudi is a small market, as compared to, say, India, right? So we had a lot of testing, and we made sure that we had to get that right. And you know, touch wood, we've had absolutely no issues so far. The agents got a bit awry, but they haven't. But it's not a problem. It's just sometimes you have failures in how it operates. But it's been very positive so far.
Hi, this question is for Richard. So Task is an Indian company, and you're operating in GCC, and India being the powerhouse for manpower. So I'm curious to know, why aren't you operating in India? What are your plans for India?
Okay, so thank you for that. It's very interesting. Our company's we've been around for 18 years. We have Indian owner, founder and CEO, Mahesh Shadapur, and our business, we have, as I said, we've got an operation in Bangalore, which is our kind of shared service centre to do all of our kind of processing, etc., for our business across the Middle East. We've kind of toyed with India for a while, and whether we should come back and actually open a business here. And actually, yes, one of my jobs for this year was to expand our company globally into at least one market in 2026. And we over the last couple of months we've been working quite hard on this. And actually, Salesforce actually helped us as well as we visited their GCC in Hyderabad to understand how does that work. And yesterday we finally signed off as a board that we will bring our staffing business into India in Q1 of 2026. So that's a really big move for our business. So we will now start to do commercial staffing operations from the start of 2026. So we're into my next job now is to set this all up. So yeah, thank you for the question.
My question is to Richard. How do you plan to leverage your position, company position?
Sorry, start again. Sorry.
Yeah. How do you plan to leverage your company's position with the Agentforce platform for talent acquisition and workforce management?
So, from a workforce management perspective, we're not leveraging within Salesforce at the moment. We have different parts of our technology ecosystem. So from our Salesforce is very much sales and marketing. So it's all about how do you generate leads, how do you get more contacts, how can you leverage your customer database that you have. From a workforce perspective, we've gone down a very specific track this year. Actually, I'm sorry, I hope you're okay with me talking about this, but it's not competitive. It's my own. One of the things we're doing as a business as well, as I said to you, we're very innovative. We actually have created our own recruiting platform, an AI recruiting platform with 10 agents. So a very, very specific platform that will just take care of all of the hiring for clients and also our own business now from an AI perspective. That's again hopefully going live at the start of January. So we're kind of use our strategy in AI, and we've really pushed hard this year. Our strategy in AI is to use great partners like Salesforce, like where we feel we don't have that expertise, then we will use a great company like Salesforce, right? It's the best CRM in the world. Where we have experience and where we have expertise, say in recruitment and, as you say, resource management, then we're trying to leverage those skills to build some of our own products as well at the moment, because that lends itself to us being able to take all the things that we've learned from AI and our experience. And again, the one thing I would say, which I think is so encouraging about India, is that our two partners for our two AI products in India are sensational. Actually three. The partner who helped us with this as well, Real Fast AI, who did the Salesforce AI work with us. India is amazing from a workforce perspective, from a technology perspective, and from an expertise. It's just amazing. So there's a good future there for sure.
Are you planning to engage more products from Salesforce in the future?
I think, I mean, yes, we are. I mean, I think the key, I think the question that the young lady said over here, which was, what do you expect revenue-wise, right? Again, for all of the products that you take from any technology provider, there's always a license fee, right? And there's always a return that's required. For us, what I would say with Salesforce is the partnership is successful because it's growing continually. And I think the one point that was made was around listening to customers. And I sort of call that a different thing, which is like, we call that co-creation. So if Salesforce can come to us and can co-create and say, listen, Richard, this is something we think would really help you, and I think your business will benefit from this, then we will always listen, right? We're always going to do that. So I can only see our partnership growing further into the future for sure. And I think if I look at how our business has grown, I think where we were from a kind of how many users we had and how we have now, it's significantly more. And I think some of our other parts of our business are also now starting to see what solutions can Salesforce bring us.
Thank you.
One more question to Richard, and then both Mankar and I, we're going to step off the stage.
Yeah, sorry.
I had a question for Mankar, in fact. It's a bit of a broader business question. So, Salesforce has been working with enterprises of all sizes, and I think this year you have announced quite a few AI Agentforce partnerships. Just curious to understand, last year we were talking about from a tech company perspective, we were talking about how customers were doing POCs and trying out what to do in the AI space. And the conversion rate was really low from POCs to production. This year we have started seeing announcements coming in. So just wanted to get a sense of how POCs are converting to production, and you are getting the deals this year. How has that metric shifted? If you could give us some kind of.
And your name was?
Debangana Manikundu.
Devanga, thank you for the question. I think a great question, and you're right. What we've seen from data perspective is that 95% of the projects that people were doing are not making it into production. And you feel free to add more to it. But a lot of it, I think, when a new technology like Agentforce came in, a lot of it was experimentation. A lot of our customers were doing it themselves, figuring things out, bringing their own models, so it was a very DIY model, and there was almost a rush to get, there was almost a rush to try it out, whether it was the fear of missing out or, lots of conversation, are we moving too fast, the technology itself was evolving. I think a lot of that is now settled in, right? Like if you look at where, there's obviously a conversation, it's a board conversation, every board's having a conversation about what is the impact of AI that you're seeing in the businesses, but it's gone beyond from an experimentation perspective to see where does it make sense for us to have the right AI interventions, like Richard was just explaining, where does it make sense for us to have the right interventions, does it make sense for us to do DIY, without the trust and without the guardrails, without the risk exposure that you might have, or does it make sense for us to partner with organizations like Salesforce, which are investing in the innovation to make sure that the technology itself is secure, right? Because that itself was a big part of the concern. So we've seen that whole conversation shift from that experimentation to why, I think customers are aware why they weren't able to go into production, and therefore if they were wanting to take advantage of this new technology, new revolution really, what will it take for them to move forward? So I think that's really where the shift is, but what do you want to add?
No, I think you covered it. The first version of the whole AI was more about summarizing, doing the POCs, they're able to sort of prove that it actually works. But when you want to actually deploy to production, you should have things like traceability, observability, being able to automate, being able to make these tweaks and be able to respond to some of the observations that you're doing. So you need a platform to be able to do all of those changes, and that's where a lot of our customers who have actually even done DIY projects are coming back to us, because it's not just about that small use case, right? There needs to be a whole ecosystem in place when you actually roll it out to production.
Sure. So, what percentages of, say, POCs have converted to production this year? If you could share some numbers around that.
I know you'd love a number from us. I don't have a tangible number, but what we're certainly seeing is a lot more appetite for customers, and Richard was talking about how successful that one use case has been, and therefore the need for us to expand further, right? So I think that's what we're seeing with the market, is that once you have an ROI on a project, then why would you not do more, right? Why would you not continue to use this as a competitive advantage in your business? Continue to see what else can I do? Across different industries, of course, the use cases are varying, right? And in financial services, maybe not so customer facing, or employee use cases. I mean, ourselves, we've got 68,000 people within Salesforce that use the Slack AI. So I think the use cases will evolve, but also, so it's really more an ROI conversation as customers begin to see the value. There's a little bit more conviction. They begin to see what else other people in the market are doing. There's a little bit of that, conviction that starts to build out, that therefore the success rates automatically go up.
And even if you look at a product evolution as well, we started on with about 5 or 7 agents about a year ago. Now we have almost 100 industry-focused agents that is ready to be deployed at our customer places, right? So the whole space is actually moving really, really fast, and very, very excited about it.
Sure, that helps. Thank you.
Namaskar, this is Sujata here from Salesforce. So this is a win-win situation for both Salesforce and Task. What about the Indian population and Indian economy, which is fastest growing, and India has the largest youth population? So how is it going to affect us, Indian economy and the youth population directly?
Specifically Task or Agentforce?
Both.
So actually it's more relevant here, right? Because of the scale that is actually there. If you were to look at, let's say, an e-commerce or a retail space, right? Every individual, right, would expect a personalized service, a recommendation where the brand fully understands them. Just because we have billions of people doesn't mean that we could have a spray and paint approach here, right? Every individual deserves the right to have a personalized communication. And that is where you need platforms like Agentforce 360 to be able to deliver that kind of personalized service, sales, marketing, commerce. It doesn't matter what aspect of how you're engaging with the brand, you need a personalized engagement there. So I think it's a lot more relevant here. The second thing I would actually say is the cost of experimentation is actually a lot more lower in India compared to other countries, right? And that allows organizations to be able to try out multiple use cases and iterate on it a lot more rapidly than what you would actually see it in other parts of the world. Those are some of the things that comes to my mind. But if there's follow-up questions, more than happy to take it.
I would like to ask Richard, sir, also you said about Bangalore, what about Mumbai, sir? Is there going to be any operations in Mumbai? Welcome to Mumbai, sir.
Thank you for the welcome. Our business has been in Bangalore for 18 years, maybe 20 years actually. So we've had a presence there, and we're very fond of the city as well. So we go. I think one of my colleagues, Manjula, here today, she goes back a long way with the company in Bangalore. I think for us, if we bring our business here, then we will require a footprint across most of India. So Mumbai would be somewhere that we would definitely come and invest in, for sure. We would definitely come here and invest. I mean, it's the main hub for a lot of the big deals in banking and M&A, and you've got all sorts of businesses here. So I think that would be somewhere we would definitely come. I think your question was also aimed at what's the opportunity, what opportunities does this give young people in India? I think India sits on the cusp of lots of opportunity. I think there's a huge amount of opportunity here. We spent a lot of time looking at this market, understanding whether we should enter it, and I think the entire GCC, the Global Capability Centre sector, is something that I think most people in the West don't even know what's going on. I think it's an astounding industry that's been created. I think there's huge opportunities for the country, and the growth looks like it will kind of continue for a long period of time. So yeah, we'll come and we'd like to be part of that for sure, and we'll invest accordingly.
So great forces coming together, Salesforce and Task, and we are expecting a great fire show over here in India.
Okay.
Just one last question.
Should I, ma'am, in your presentation you have shown most of the industry you have covered. Okay, I just want to know that which is a booming industry right now.
I'm going to upset one of my colleagues if I pick one, but we're seeing growth. If I look at our portfolio, we're certainly seeing growth across, right? Whether what you're even looking from a GDP perspective, what's happening in the Indian economy and all the same sectors that you will hear about. So we're seeing growth really spread across. I think the appetite for agentic interventions is also real because the use cases will vary. With, as an example, for recruitment will be different than financial services versus a retail consumer good or a bank or a pharma. The use cases will vary, but we're seeing a really interesting uptake of technology and overall agentic. So it's difficult for me to pick one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for all your time.
Thank you for all the questions.